Next up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, we're jumping into the Expresso kitchen. Now, renowned South African chef Bertus Vasson is known, of course, for his prowess in the kitchen and on the braai. And now he has added cookbook author to his long list of achievements. And today he joins us to talk more about his book and to cook one of his favorite recipes. Also be on the lookout. We're giving away 2 of the copies of his book this morning. Bertus, my friend, lucky to have you, man. Yeah, welcome, welcome.
Cool, man.
Look, man, I got to ask you first. You've got such a long list of achievements. You're incredibly busy, man. Multiple restaurants down here in the Western Cape as well. You've got a baby on the way as well. How do you do it, brother? Where do you find the time for all of this?
It's not me, it's my wife, to be honest with you. So you know, I'm lucky. I think the golden rule is that guys must always marry women that is more clever than they are. Okay. And I did that. And it helps a lot. So
you tick that box, I like it. Listen, congratulations on the book, Homegrown.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. What can people expect? What recipes are there?
So it's not a restauranty book, firstly. Okay. It's not about fancy things that you can't make at home. It's all about my inspiration as a chef and sort of how I grew up with food and how I relate to South African food. Look, I'm South African, I love being South African, I love eating South African. And it's just sort of like stories about my grandparents and what they used to cook. And then this sort of recipe ties into that.
A bit too personal touch.
Yeah.
Let's make this recipe a peppermint crisp kind of delight thing.
Sure. So you know when you were a kid and you walk on the beach when you were lighting and you loved sort of having dry roomys.
Lekker dry roomys.
Exactly.
Yes,
so that's sort of the inspiration for this is how do we make a dry roomys at home?
Okay.
And then one day we had a friend come to visit us in Stellenbosch at our home, Marty de Lange. And Marty made these really cool little sort of like tennis biscuits, frozen peppermint crisp little things. Yes. And sort of you put those 2 ideas together and the end result is this. And it's not any different to making normal peppermint crisp tart at home. So you have whipped cream, caramel treat, you whisk those together, just fold it in.
Okay.
Obviously grate the peppermint crisp, which we love.
Yes. Okay, so good old peppermint crisp,
that's it,
grated in there.
So it really is just taking a good old recipe your mom used to make. And the only difference is we freeze it. The other cool thing is obviously when you make these at home, you can make them long before your mates arrive. You can have a couple of bottles of wine. And when it's dessert time, you pull it out and you just serve it. So it really is super easy.
And everyone can eat from this side. The grown-ups, the kids, everyone.
So straightforward.
Amazing.
So if you can hold the cone for me for a second.
100%.
So we serve this at one of my little restaurants in Stellenbosch.
So just a sugar cone in there?
Exactly. So one of these guys, you know what we do? We recycle. So we use like the old sort of unused menus at the restaurant, Speck and Burner, and we wrap it up there.
Look at that.
So this is from at one of my restaurants in Stellenbosch, Speck and Burner. This is the most popular dessert on the menu. And we can't get rid of this thing. We put it on the menu when we open up and it's there. So we fill this to the top, all the way, and we pop them in the freezer. Now, if you've got a little egg stand like this at home, it makes your life a smidgen easier.
Yeah,
because you just sort of pop them in there and off you go.
So there we go, nice and full.
That's it. And here's sort of one we made earlier, and we just sort of unwrap them easily.
My word, look at that.
And it's like having a little frozen dessert treat at home.
Yeah.
And you know, for the kids, it's easy to make. There's no cooking involved. It's like a cool family little dessert.
Look
People
at that.
love it. Huh? Now, obviously, you can't just do this. So we serve it sort of like that.
Yeah.
And then we top it with a few fun things. So we use a little bit of whipped cream.
Just because?
Just because you need more fat in your life.
Absolutely.
Then obviously you need more sweet in your life. So we're going to lose a bit there.
Absolutely.
So we do a bit of just caramel treat on top.
Yo,
it becomes super
piling
messy
it on there,
and crazy. And then we do like really cool little bits of popcorn with it. And we serve everything sort of around it. It must be like a messy, and you must lick your fingers like you were a kid on the beach, man.
Yeah, I can just imagine people digging into that, after a good old braai.
A good old splashing of that, a bit of icing sugar, and that's it. And sort of this is the kind of stuff we like as South Africans.
Super easy.
This is how we grew up.
Super easy, man. I love it. Listen, if you want to get your hands on the dessert, SMS the keyword dessert to 33728. And by SMSing that keyword dessert to 33728, you'll get your hands on one of 2 copies we are giving away of Bertus's brand new cookbook called Homegrown. That's dessert. SMS that to 33728, and you'll go automatically into the draw to win yourself one of 2 copies of this incredible cookbook. Bertus, thank you very much for joining us, man.
Nice seeing you.
Yeah, man, and all the best with the baby on the way as well.
Thank you very much.
3 weeks left.
Can't wait. Very exciting.
Awesome. Dessert to 33728.